Hey y'all, I watched my video like maybe 30 minutes ago or something, and I realized that I bunny trailed as usual, and I what should have been like a little side turn and then go back to the subject. I forgot what the subject was, and then I went off on this stuff like false doctrines or false beliefs and stuff, as if the rapture is false belief. Oh my gosh. Where I took a turn and I started getting off on that stuff, I was trying to express that we all do have different desires in these different branches of ministries. Like, there are charismatic churches that are into healing and raising the dead, uh and even in the, I don't know if South Africa is a third world country, I don't think so, but you see so many miracles there. So many. So many. Because they have like a childlike faith. They don't have any, I mean, there's like famous people like Reinhard Bonnke, who is a German, never saw a black person in his life. And God told him one day, go be an evangelist in Africa, and miracles everywhere. All the time, still to this day. And just another guy, there was a movie made of him. I think it was called The Potato Preacher. Well, anyway, okay, so then you have your other preachers of faith, so I was basically just trying to say, and not many churches teach end times, much less a date or anything. So what I was just trying to say is that there's disappointments, okay? Also, if you take the Bible and say John, what is it, 14, 17 or something, I just made a post about it. Ask what you will, if your word abides in me, if I never can say it right, but if your word abides in me and I abide, then I abide in you. I ask what I will receive it if I have enough faith, for therein the Father is glorified. So, okay, there are some ministries, they take that seriously. Now, of course, granted, it's in the will of God. You're not going to say, I am praying for a Mercedes. Maybe you're praying for your child, your wayward child. Maybe you're praying for your marriage. And like I've told you before, the miracle that I'm still waiting on with my ex, who's now my ex. So, it never came through, but that doesn't mean Jesus is a liar. Let me not bunny trail, I hope. Lord help me. So, after so many confirmations, you have a prayer, right? And then as you're communicating with God, a certain type of prayer, like the one I was asking, I said, Jesus, will you talk to him face to face? And then after that request, I can't just stand on that in faith, believing that I'm going to receive it if I don't know if that's God's will. Now, I did ask questions like talking to myself. I'd say, would God say no to marriage not ending in divorce? How does that say? Would God say no to marriage and yes to divorce? No, he wouldn't. So he probably is okay with that request. Would, God say no to somebody living a Christ-like life as a husband? I don't think so. I don't think he'd say no to that. So in other words, I'm indicting a good matter, as King David would say. But I still wanted to get some confirmations. So I did. I got one right after another for several years, over and over. Okay, well, even before I kept getting them over and over and over, that yes, I'll do it. Then I began making a list of things on this, when Jesus meets him face to face. Okay, so I'd get confirmation. I'm going to talk to him face to face. I'm going to talk to him. Then after so many, it's like, wow, this is amazing. I then said, this is now a promise. So it's now a promise. I never have to worry about him never doing it. I stand in faith. I believe it. I'm going to receive it. Okay. And that's an example of you double checking your prayer request, that you're asking Jesus for. You have to make sure it's in his will. See? So I did. I asked him my own questions. Would he say yes to divorce? Would he say no to somebody being a Christian, a godly person? So yes, so I cross-examined myself in my requests, and I also, whatever I just said. So I'm indicting a good matter, and then I asked Jesus for confirmations. Is it a good prayer? Is it, yeah. So then when he tells you, yes, I approve over and over and over and over again, that he's going to do it, your prayer request is fine, it's good, it's in my will, go for it. Believe it in faith. You don't have to waver. You don't have to worry. Just wait on the promise, because whenever there's a promise in the Bible, there's always a problem first. God promised the Israelites to get them out of Egypt. Then there was a problem. He promised, well, that's the one I can remember right now, but any historical event in the Bible, it was a promise first. And then there was a big old problem to get to the promise. So I knew that. I already learned that from John Hagee. So yes, what I'm getting at is truths like that in the Bible, and you follow them, and you believe them, and you do them, and you stand in faith for them. That's faith. You're exercising faith, which it's impossible to please God if you don't have faith. So where I was going earlier today in the video was, we all have our desires. So my desire is the rapture, but I also am a Christian who occupies and believes in faith and everything. My point was, that's my desire. And when we have desires and we stand in faith believing for things, they can be heartbreaking. Not that it was. I am not kidding when I say that something very sad can happen to me, and I can feel the sadness, but I can totally feel the Holy Spirit holding it away from me. Like it's supernatural. Like the Holy Spirit will come and shield me from sadness. But yet, I don't know how to explain it. But yet I can kind of feel the sadness, but I can also feel that the Holy Spirit is keeping the sadness from being out of control. And I know it's not me. I know it's not myself who trained myself to trust God. That's a little different than faith, because sometimes painful things happen while you're waiting, and you have to fight off the doubt and the grief or the whatever. You have to fight for the waiting patiently. You have to fight being impatient. Yes, I get all that. And that can be hard and sad sometimes. But this particular kind of sadness, like that, is humanly impossible sometimes, because sometimes we are going to be sad over something and you have to endure the sadness. But this time and the last time and the other times, it's like I feel the sadness, but I also feel at the same time, I feel the Holy Spirit protecting me from, and I'll still mope around and stuff and be kind of sad, but I sense in my mind and in my spirit, in my heart, that, wow, this sadness can be so bad. It should be really bad right now. It really should be really super bad, but it's not. It's not. And that's humanly impossible, because I know how it should feel. But I know that it's the Holy Spirit taking over. Okay, so where I wanted to go with that is, whatever your type of churchy thing, Christian walk is, there's going to be disappointment as well. That makes you very, very sad. But also, how many times are we afraid to ask God for something, or believe God for something, or trust God for something, because we're afraid to get our hearts broken? That's selfish, because that means you're putting your own heart above God's heart, because it breaks God's heart that you don't want to trust him because you're afraid your heart is going to be broken. And to me, that's tragedy. That's tragic for someone to say they're in a relationship with God, with Jesus, and yet you even subconsciously, maybe your mind is unconsciously doing that and you don't even know it. And so you're afraid to believe him when you ask him for something. You're afraid to ask for confirmations because he might say no. You're afraid to believe after this many confirmations. You're afraid to believe it's now a promise. You're afraid to walk out on the water. You're afraid to leave Egypt. You're afraid to cross the Red Sea. You're afraid. So you don't even ask. You don't even bother to ask. What you'll do is you'll just live your life as a believer. And then when an emergency comes, you start praying for Jesus or God to help you. And that's not what they're there for. Sure, they're there to have a relationship, but they also want you to ask, like a child asks, Daddy, can I have this? Daddy, can I have that? Mommy, can I have this? I heard something yesterday somewhere. It says, you don't go home as a child and you bow down to your dad or your mom and beg them, Daddy, please give me some food. Daddy, please give me some dinner, breakfast. Daddy, please take me to school. Get down and beg him for the very basic minimal things. And we do that. Sometimes we are so independent that we go, no, I'm not going to bother Daddy for that. I am going to just do this. And if I can't handle something and it's an emergency, I'll start begging him. No, you don't start begging him. You don't beg him. You can beseech him every now and then, when an emergency strikes. But that's not supposed to be your only relationship with him, was when an emergency strikes. And you start begging him, oh, Lord, if it's your will, please don't take my child. No, you come boldly before the throne. He's your dad. Say, Daddy, my child needs you. And I'm indicting a good matter. I need you to heal my baby now. And then you might say, but wait, maybe that's his time to go and Jesus wants him. Let me ask and find out. Then you ask for confirmations. Do you want to take my baby? Or can I have my baby? Or is it up to me and you just are expecting me to stand on faith? Which is it, Jesus? What do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? So yes, we have faith in the rapture. We have faith that we'll know. We have faith while we wait. But I'm just asking you, what do you, in your walk with him, in your ministry that you're going to church in, what are you having faith in your relationship with Jesus, in whatever ministry that you're going to church in? Are you having faith? Because remember, God is a jealous God. Just like when you're a parent sometimes, how that old, not saying, but how in the old days with the parents, probably in the 70s or 80s, the parents, the father would come home, but he's always got a lot on his mind at work, and he's home, but he's not present. That used to be a thing back then in the 80s or 70s, latchkey kids. Your parents are home, but they're not really present because they've got so much on their mind. They're there for you. They put a shelter over your head and a food and the clothes on your back, but they're not there for you because they've got too much on their mind. It's like, no, they brush you off. I've got a lot on my mind. I'm busy here. Go away. They're always too busy with the important things that aren't even that important. Okay? Right? Maybe we all have done that before. So when we do that to God, we're almost like, God, I got this. I'm too busy. And we neglect him and we don't bother asking his help. Not that the parents are going to ask for the child's help. That's not the kind of analogy. And I didn't mean this to go this long. But I'm just saying that we can make God jealous when we don't have faith and we're just having a relationship with God. Don't want to bother him with any requests. Don't want to bother him with any crazy requests, outrageous desires, whatever. And you kind of make him jealous because then when life gets kind of hectic with you, all you do is throw up a few prayers. Oh, God, help me. Oh, Jesus, have mercy. Oh, Lord, good gracious man, help me with the strength to get through this. No, you don't even, like you're bearing it alone. Like you have no faith to ask him, hey, Daddy, come help me. Daddy, I'm weak. I'm helpless. I need to lean on you. I need this. That makes him jealous because just like if your parents were deadbeat parents and they didn't have time for you and your child is suffering for that, it should be a different analogy somehow, but I can't think of it. But it's like you're taking valuable time away from your child's childhood where you need to be present because you're just, do you see how it can make God jealous? I don't know. I thought I had the analogy right, but I guess I don't. But it's just kind of like, I don't know, figure it out yourself. But I'm just saying we can make God jealous by not depending on him, not trusting him, because we're big boy pants and big girl pants, which you do got to have. You do got to wear them sometimes when it comes to faith. You got to stand strong and trust your daddy. And it kind of hurts his feelings when we are so, we think he's so small. Why bother him? Let me only bother him about the important things. He's too small to, or maybe you think he's too big to care about my little things that I got to handle. Or you think he's too small to, I don't know. You examine your own self. I've already done this before, and I can't think of it right now because I'm tired. But all I know is that we can make him jealous. We can make him jealous when we think he's too small. It's kind of like, you stay over there in your corner, Lord. I'll call you when I need you. I read your word, but I don't really have faith in your word because in the back of my mind, I'm afraid to trust you because I might be let down. And that's life. And if you're going to do hard life like that, you might as well do it with God. You might as well be disappointed when God says no. It's better than the alternative. When the world says no, when your boss says no, when your something says no. You're going to inevitably be disappointed by somebody saying no to you. Why not it be God, your dad? Put him first. See if he's going to say no. And if you're disappointed that he says no, or wait, or you feel like he's not answering at all, that's a way better heartbreak than what the world will do to you. Like you don't want to get your hopes up because God might say no. That's what you're really thinking if you examine yourself. So just be bold, come boldly before the throne of grace and ask God for anything and every little nitpicking thing, and let him be your daddy. And don't make him jealous. And yeah, in our religion doctrine where we want to watch for the rapture and we have dates, and if it offends people, sorry. Do we go around being offended at people that don't teach the rapture at all? Do we get offended when people teach the rapture and say, no man knows the day or hour? No, we don't get offended. We just leave you guys alone and don't even bother with you guys. Why do you have to get in our business? Oh, they're date setters. You're marring the reputation of the rapture, and you're ruining it, and you're spreading all this crap around, and people are getting confused and disappointed. No, just y'all guys mind your own business and we'll do our business, and you go find you churchy faith relationship believer people that think and do it the way you want to do it. And if you want to stay in a little box and your relationship in a little box, fine. Leave us alone. We have faith and we're doing our thing with our Jesus, and it's the same Jesus, and we're reading the same Bible. So I'm just wanting to ask you, are you holding back from God because you're afraid you're going to get disappointed? Oh, the rapture, nobody knows. That's probably psychological warfare that you Christians want to feed yourselves because you can't handle disappointment. So yeah, that's basically where I was gonna kind of go. And then I bunny trailed off on false doctrine, and I'm like listening to myself. I'm like thinking, like, I sound like I'm making an apology, like, sorry if anybody thinks it's a false doctrine, but it's not. I don't know what I was doing, but listen. I'm just saying this is our desire, and it does hurt sometimes when we have people pounce on us. See? And I haven't heard anything. I don't see that stuff. I don't hear it. I don't know. I don't hear people mocking Joshua or us. But if you are, that's why I made the video. I'm like, if you are mocking. And I've also for a long time wanted to apologize to anyone who, not the mockers, outright mocking, but not apologize really, probably. But listen, you guys, the mockers are jerks and they are biblical, and that's good. We like it. But there are people that we might be offending because they genuinely believe you should not set a date. And that's just how they're taught. They're not mocking. They might make comments a little bit here and there in a nice way that, well, no one knows, but we're waiting all the time. No, you're not, because you can't be prepared if you don't know a date. So I'm just saying that I'm just saying. And I know he's going to show us the signs of the times and the fig trees and the earthquakes and diverse places and stuff. But I'm just saying that there are some who genuinely do maybe get hurt or offended that we're date setting. And they're not being mockers. And I've always thought to myself, I need to apologize to those kind of people. But I can't really apologize on what I believe. So I never really have. I'm sorry if I have offended you, but I'm not sorry for what I believe. I'm not sorry for how I believe. But I'm sorry, yes, if I have offended you in the way I believe about date setting. And I'm genuinely sorry if it's offending you. But just like the preaching of the cross and the gospel is foolishness to those who are perishing. I'm not saying you're perishing, but I'm saying that, hey, we're all Christians, we're all human, we're all offending each other all day long in all kinds of ways. So you'll just have to get over it and show us some grace with the way we believe, and we'll show you some grace with the way you don't believe. And let's just try to trust God more. It's not just about rapture dates to trust God. It's about everything in your life, not just emergencies. Okay, well, I'm going to go get a glass of water because my mouth is dry. I'm laying down talking. That's weird. Okay, bye. God bless you guys. And I'll see you soon because, yeah, this is first time worldwide. This made national news. I know God is up to something. I know he's going to shock and awe us. And there was a sermon, I'm going to try to find it on YouTube, by Rick Renner, talking about the Holy Spirit verse in Acts, when it's poured out on all flesh, and he's dissecting every word from the Greek as usual. And it sounds like it's something that is major, unmissable, in other words, what's happening right now with the dreams, visions, and prophecies is nothing compared. Go back and read that account, what happened in Acts. That was like a windstorm of tongues and Holy Spirit pouring out. And the way Rick Renner was describing it and dissecting the words, it was a literal windy wind, very noisy, very loud. I don't even think it's come yet, because when it does come, it's going to be something similar to where I was describing and praying for, that I hope it's undeniable. Everyone can see it. Everyone can, it's okay, Bob. Everyone can see it. Everyone can know it is it. Everyone is pointing and saying, wow, just like they did in Acts. They're going to say these people are drunk. And they're going to be saying, it's the middle of the day. They're not drunk. Rick Renner, I'm going to find that video and I'll link it. He's describing that verse from the Greek, what it happened, actually what happened. Now, we're probably getting a small taste of it, but I'll bet you any minute now, any day now, the real, exact, identical thing that happened in Joel, maybe it was prophesied in Joel, but it happened in Joel as well. And this is how Paul knew what it was, and then when you go back and you read both, even in Acts, I've asked Jesus about this. I'm like, look, Lord, Paul is calling it just like Joel, and it's nothing like Joel. Why is he doing that? But you go reread the both of them yourself. Everything around it, not just the two verses. I'm talking about everything around it in Joel and everything around it in Acts. And I was reading it one day and I was thinking, God, what's happening in Acts that he's quoting is from Joel. It's, to me, not really the same thing, but whatever. Paul said it. I didn't write the book. The Holy Spirit did. The Holy Spirit wrote it through men. And I don't remember what it is, but I thought to myself, it's got to be bigger. It's got to be bigger. You know what I mean? And so, but 3,000 men got saved. and all the people understood each other. And yeah, so anyway, I believe in a date. I'm not apologizing, and I'm just saying I'm sorry you're offended, but I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. And I'm thinking that God is up to something big, and something big is going to happen. And then we're all going to be like looking up, and date or no date. You know, I'm not putting God in a box. He might want us to be looking at dates every single day, or in another month, or in another day or week, and he'd still rapture us before then, or right then, or have something cool happen right before, or whatever. I'm not putting God in a box, so you guys go ahead if you want to, but I'm not. I'm in a relationship, and I'm going to believe everything he tells me to believe in his word, because that's his will. Okay, bye.